Hey everybody, and good morning. It's Wednesday, February 9th. I almost said October 9th. Wow, I think I was wishing for Halloween. Wednesday, February 9th, and we are here for my Wednesday Intro Psych class. Good morning, welcome. Thank you all of you for being here, logging in, joining me. I think, will be our last Twitch live stream, at least for a while, for our class. I will talk all about that in a little while, but we are scheduled to meet up on Monday, on Valentine's Day. So I'll talk about that a little bit later when we're talking about some of the announcements and reminders. But likely this is our last one for a little while, unless for some reason we go back to being virtual, which you never know, right? Anything can happen. This year has taught us that for sure. These last 2 years, but other than that, what I want to do today, a couple of things we'll talk about last week. I'm going to go over the discussion and our first exam that we took, and just a couple of comments and statistics and so about that. We'll talk about some reminders for this week and what we have going on this week. I have the Twitch extra credit question, and then we will talk as well about how we are handling next week and returning to our in-person learning. So that is our plan for today. And if you have questions at any point, as always, feel free to put them in the chat, and I would be happy to answer them for you. But yeah, let's go ahead and go over to Canvas and get going on all of those materials. And I hope you're all doing well, hanging in there on this windy morning, and it's hot. I hate it, right? Well, like, where's our winter weather? I'm waiting for rain and cold weather, and it's like going to be 85 on Friday. Like, time to go swimming outside in our pool, I guess, right? Like, I'm not ready for spring and summer. I want it to still be winter, but I guess winter is no longer coming, right? So sad. So we'll see. Plenty of snow. Yeah, please. I would love some snow. I really, really wanted it to snow, at least up in the mountains. I kept waiting to be able to take my children up to the snow, and we had that one big storm back in December, and then after that it just has been warm, sadly. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of a late amount of snow or rain or something. Crossing my fingers and waiting. Still waiting. But okay, so here we go. Canvas, let me get you over there. So we are now officially in week number 5. So we've passed kind of like the 1/4 mark of the semester. Yeah, winter is not coming, right? My cup even says winter is coming, and it's wrong. No winter for us, right? Sadly. So yeah, week number 5. Let's go back and talk about week number 4 just for a moment, and then we can move forward. So last week we were looking at sensation and perception. We had our discussion. We had the first exam. So just a couple of quick comments related to those two things. For the discussion, I enjoyed all the random things that you smelled. A lot of you like grabbed random stuff out of your house, and I think that's really fun. Some of you had a lot of associations, and some of you only a couple, and that's totally fine. But I guarantee at some point in your life you've probably had a smell memory where you were wandering through somewhere and you like catch a smell of something and it instantly reminds you of a memory or association in your life. So if it didn't happen here, don't worry. And hopefully one day when it happens, you'll be like, oh, I know what that is and why, as a result of this discussion. The biggest reason people lost points were the last 2 questions, right? So as I mentioned when we were talking about the instructions last week, I really wanted you to talk quite a bit about why smell memories occur, right? Talking about the olfactory bulb and the limbic system and conditioning and all those different elements that came up in the articles. If you didn't elaborate fully on that, you lost a couple of points. And then a few of you, this last one as well, how could you use the knowledge that there is a strong relationship between smells and memory in your life? And some of you just said, well, now I know about it, so I can be like more aware of it, or I can remember that it makes me happy or sad or whatnot. I was looking for you to be a little bit more specific and just give me a little bit more of like a specific practical application. But again, for the most part, really nicely done. Most of you got full points or very close to. Don't forget to always reply to a classmate. We do have a discussion this week, so make sure when you're doing that, you're answering all the questions fully and, of course, replying to one of your peers. So that was that for the discussion. A few comments about the exam. So we had exam number 1. I hope that you found the exam to be clear and straightforward. A lot of you did really quite well on the test, which as I told you before, I would love it if all of you got A's. It makes me very happy that so many of you did well on the exam. The high score was 100%. The low score was a 44%. And the average was just shy of an A. It was right around like 88, 89%. So a lot of A's and B's on the exam, and then obviously some people who definitely scored a little on the lower side and probably wish they had done a little better. But a lot of A's. A lot of you did wonderfully. The average amount of time taking the test was right around like 62 minutes. So most of you had plenty of time, which tells me that you studied and you prepared, you were organized and ready to go. So very, very nicely done for the most part. If you're not thrilled with your score on the first exam, don't get too frustrated. The first exam is always the hardest because you don't know what to expect. We do have 3 more, and so hopefully as we take more and more tests, you'll get more comfortable with the format and expectations. And then some of these little extra credit opportunities like you're doing today will help to offset maybe some of those missed points. So don't stress too much if it wasn't your best score, but a lot of you should give yourself a pat on the back and did a really beautiful job. I always like to encourage you to use the exams as a learning opportunity. So if you are happy with how you did on the test, keep doing the same thing as we move forward, right? So if you are happy with your score, that means you did beautifully, right? Study the same amount, read the same amount. You can say that that was successful in this first fourth and kind of keep going the same way. If you wish that you had done a little bit better, now is an excellent time to kind of switch things up a little bit. You could do more reading of the textbook. You could study a little bit more, study earlier, study each chapter at a time as we go along. You probably know if you didn't do as well as you would have liked, you probably maybe have some ideas of what you could do better. Some of them might be actually studying or using the study guide or reading more, or like I said, maybe studying a little bit at a time as we go along. So this is a great chance to kind of tweak things a little bit if you need to. And if you did a beautiful job, then just keep doing what you're doing. So as I said, weeks 1 through 4 are now in the books. 1/4 of the class is done, and we move into our second chunk of topics. So in the coming weeks, weeks 5, 6, 7, and 8, we will cover consciousness, learning, memory, and cognition, some very kind of core psychology topics. And I have to tell you that this week's topic of consciousness is probably one of my favorites. Consciousness, so interesting, talking about sleep and dreams, hypnosis, and even drug altering consciousness. Really, really interesting. It'd be fun to teach a whole class on it someday. But that's what we're starting and looking at this week. And so we have a few components to get to. Any thoughts, comments, questions, anything about the exam or week 4 before we move forward? Any questions or thoughts at all before we talk about week number 5, just to make sure before we move on? And I'll wait just a second just to make sure. And if you think of anything, of course, put it in the chat. Otherwise, I will keep going. And if you think of something, just throw it in there and I will try and get to it and try not to miss it. But as I said, we start consciousness this week. So what you'll want to do first, like usual, is probably read chapter 5 in the ebook. And then you have the lecture and the lecture video related to consciousness. So the lecture, if we take a look at that really quickly, on page 1, you always have the objectives and the summary, so you can listen to that or read it, whichever one is easier for you. The Beyond the Book page, I have a couple of fun videos here about change and inattentional blindness. These are really like fun and interesting, so I hope that you take a moment to watch both of these videos. They really get at this idea of what we pay attention to and how much we can miss. Especially this one, but both of them are really fun. I hope you take a chance and watch both of those. I have a little video here about sleep and the different stages of sleep that we progress through. Really, really going to be helpful in studying for the next exam, along with this little diagram right here. A little bit about nightmares, sleep disorders, and energy drinks. Again, all kind of really fun and interesting topics related to consciousness and sleep. In pop culture, there's an incredible number of movies related to consciousness. A lot of movies related to sleep, hypnosis, drug use. There's just a ton, right? I had to limit myself a little bit. I have a fun clip here from Step Brothers. If you've watched that movie, there's a really funny portrayal of sleepwalking. There are some really good like nuggets of truth in there, though. Very common that people perform ritualistic behaviors when they sleepwalk. So I hope you enjoy that. There's also a little scene from Yes Man about Red Bull and some of the effects and side effects of Red Bull. Kind of, again, a funny scene, and lots of other wonderful movies related to these topics. Here are all the key terms that you need to know for this chapter. So again, if you didn't do as well as you might have liked on the first exam, what you could do is as we go along. So this week, these would be all the terms that you need to know from chapter 5. And so you could take some time and study these terms this week while we are on this topic. And that would really help you to kind of build rather than studying all of it at the end all at once. Excuse me. On the last page, a little bit about dream recall and dream analysis. And you'll be looking at this for the discussion this week, but really fun to think about our dreams a little bit more. And again, that's something that you'll focus on for discussion number 5. But if you have a hard time remembering your dreams, this video is going to be very helpful for you. I went over a lot of different tips and strategies for remembering your dreams. So you definitely are going to want to watch that and pay attention. And then some fun websites that go over like common symbolic meanings of dreams. And then a little bit about getting help for substance disorders. Someone asked, do I know the work of Rosalind Cartwright? She was a professor at my university. I met her and worked with people in her group. No, I don't. I'm not familiar with her at all. You'll have to tell me more. Okay? So that is the lecture. And if we go back, don't forget the lecture video. So in the lecture video, I am lecturing on the slides. I'm not sure why it doesn't want to go back here. I'm lecturing on the slides for chapter 5, so you'll want to watch that and take notes. It is just a little Zoom video link, so make sure you're watching that, taking notes. Those materials will definitely show up on the next exam. Then you have discussion number 5. And as I said, you'll be spending a little bit of time thinking about your dreams. I don't know if any of you struggle to remember your dreams. Dreams fade from our memory very, very quickly because you're not awake when they happen. So I have a habit of first thing in the morning when I wake up, or even if I wake up in the middle of the night, I will just like write it down in my phone of what I dreamt about, or I'll just keep thinking about it until I can write it down. And even then, they tend to fade very, very quickly. I was competing on Top Chef last night in my dream. I have a lot of like Top Chef dreams. I watch a lot of like Food Network and cooking shows before bed, just because they're kind of mindless, and I love watching anything related to food. And so last night, as I was falling asleep, we were watching Top Chef, and they were in the finale. It was like season 12 or something like that, way back. And I was dreaming about competing in Top Chef, and I was in the finale, and then all of a sudden realized that I actually have no idea how to cook. And I was trying to like fake my way through cooking through the competition and like copy the other people around me, right? And I could think about that as being super meaningful, or it could just be an extension of waking life. Dreams can be so fascinating. Sometimes they can be totally random, and other times it feels like they're really, really meaningful. And so kind of a whole range when it comes to dreams. Everybody forgets their dreams, right? Jasmine, you said you forget them all the time. Really common because you're not consciously awake and paying attention when you're dreaming. And so if you don't think about them or write them down right away, they fade from your memory very, very quickly. So for this week's discussion, make sure you watch my little video, and then you're going to answer all of the questions in the prompt below. Read through 5 of your classmates and reply to one of them. And remember, like always, it's worth 15 points, 13 for your responses to my questions, and 2 for your responses to a peer. And this is likely the last discussion that you will do since we're going back in person next week. We won't be doing the discussions anymore. We'll be doing more in-person stuff. So definitely take some time and enjoy doing the last discussion here. What you're going to do is you're going to read on the dream, click on this and read the dream article that I have here for you. So I compiled this very short little article. It talks about some 5 different kind of modern theories as to why we dream. And so make sure you read through that in addition to reading through the textbook as always. And then what I want you to do is select one dream that you've had recently and that you still remember with some degree of detail. Make sure that it's something that you don't mind sharing and make sure it's not about me. Just as a little like caveat there, right? It shouldn't be about me, right? Don't share it. If it's about me, wait for another one, right? I once had a student share with me that he had a dream that he murdered me. I just like could not look at him the same way after that. Awkward, right? So if it's about me, just wait for a different one. But I want you to briefly describe your dream and then explain your dream from a minimum of 2 of the different dream theories that we discussed in either the article right here or also in the textbook. So in other words, how would those theories explain your dream and where they came from? So take a dream that you had, give it a little bit of an explanation. You don't have to be super detailed, but what are the things that you remember? What stood out to you? And then you're going to analyze that dream. And make sure when you're analyzing it, this is something where people tend to lose some points. So I'm just giving you this pointer here. Make sure that you describe each of the theories that you use in enough detail to show me that you understand them. So don't just say, oh, theory number 1 and theory number 3. I want you to describe the theory, what it means, and then connect it to your dream. This is where you're getting the bulk of your points. So really make sure that you're highlighting and describing the theories as they relate to the dream that you had. And then finally, at the end, why do you personally think that we dream? What do you think that dreams mean? It could be a combination of things, but why do you personally think that we dream? And I look forward to reading your thoughts. You're welcome to look up like symbolic meanings if you want, or you can keep it kind of light and related to the dream theories. But again, I think dreams can be incredibly meaningful or they can be incredibly random and everything in between. We don't really know what dreams are or what causes them. So it's fun to think about them a little bit. So when you're ready, you'll hit reply to answer my questions. And then don't forget to reply to a classmate. Right? So several of your classmates have already done this. If you struggle to think of a dream, again, watch that video that I made for you highlighting some of the tips for remembering dreams. There's some really useful tips in there. You can think of an old dream. If you have like a reoccurring dream that you tend to have, you can always talk about that. If you absolutely worst case cannot come up with one, you could see if someone in your life is willing to share one of their dreams and then explain it from the different perspectives. Any of those things would work out just fine. So I look forward to reading what you think and then why you personally think we dream and all of that kind of stuff. You do have one kind of a different element this week. You have a self-assessment. And I added this in here, and this, again, like some of the reflection you did before, this is just a way for me to check in with you and have you kind of assess your progress now that we have finished one exam. Now, this is worth 5 points, so please make sure that you do it. It's due before the end of the week, Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. But now that we've completed our first unit, including the exam, I want you to take a moment to consider your progress, grades, and approach to this class. Respond to the questions on the survey so I can reach out and provide support to you as needed. You will receive 5 points for submitting this, but take time to think about, your thinking and learning and how that could maybe change or what you're doing well or could improve on. So when you're ready, you'll hit Take Survey. And then you're going to answer these questions, right? So there are 5 questions in total, each one worth 1 point. I'm doing my part to learn as much as possible. On average, I've spent how much time? I consistently do the reading. Please be honest, like it doesn't benefit or hurt, you to tell me otherwise. Just be honest with this. It won't affect your grade in any way. And then what is your most unclear point so far? And then what, thinking about your exam score, are you happy with it? What could you do differently? And so on. And then you'll hit submit at the bottom. So there's no time limit. It is worth 5 points, 1 point for each question. So make sure that you are answering all of these things, kind of taking a moment to just assess how you're doing and your progress in the class so far. So that is a little different than we've had. It's kind of one additional element that we have for the week. So don't forget the self-assessment number 1. And then I still have the optional Twitch extra credit to share with you. But are there any questions? I have some reminders and things for you. But are there any questions or thoughts or comments at all for me at the moment before we get into some reminders and the extra credit and talking about next week? If you think of anything, as always, feel free to put it in the chat. So some reminders for you. Okay, number one, as always, please take a moment to check your subscription status. A lot of you fell off. So I want to say like almost like a third of all of you fell off this week. A lot of you subscribed for free and it's good for 30 days. It's been 4 weeks, so right around a month or so. So a lot of you lost that status. So just make sure that you go back and double check it. Like for example, Abigail, you no longer have the football next to your name. You're the only one I see in the chat at the moment. But if you no longer have the little football next to your name, that means that you've lost that status. So please make sure you go back, click that purple drop down bar on my Twitch page, and then resubscribe for free for 30 days. That will get you all set for the next month. Whether we stay in person or online or some combination of the two, I might still utilize Twitch. So it's really important that you continue to follow me on here in case we do use it. I'm going to talk about that right now, Cynthia. Yes, we are, but I will definitely talk about that here as we go. So that's your first reminder. And if you never did this, you can still go through and follow the instructions and set this up. So thank you again. If you didn't subscribe, make sure you put your name in the chat sometime today so that I can mark your attendance. And then that is the other really big thing I want to talk about. So, I told you a couple of weeks ago that our plan was to go back on Valentine's Day on the 14th, and that is still the plan. So nothing has changed. The chancellor sent out an email yesterday saying that we are still on to return in person. So we will be meeting in person on Monday. The next time I see you, we will be meeting in person, which is wild. I don't know if any of you are nervous or excited or both. I will be totally honest with you. I am nervous. I have not taught in person in 2 years. Next month, it'll have been 2 years. So I'm definitely a little nervous about it, but I'm also excited because I'll get to see you. And I spend a lot of time alone in my house. So I am looking forward to being in the classroom and getting to interact with all of you. But yeah, it's been a long time. It's been 2 years next month. So I'm sure a lot of you have not taken classes in person in that time either. And so if you're nervous, it's okay. We will get through it together. And if you're excited, it's okay. We will get through it together, right? It's going to be fine either way. So our class, I'm going to put this in the chat. Our class meets Monday, Wednesday, 8:30 to 9:45, right? So our class meets Monday, Wednesday, 8:30 to 9:45 in HSS 206. So Monday morning, bright and early, Monday morning, we will be meeting in HSS 206 on campus in that room at 8:30. So please try and be there on time. Make sure that you leave yourself a little bit of extra time to find the room if you've never been there. But we will be meeting at that time and day, so please be there. A couple of reminders about that. You do need to wear a mask. Okay, so you have to wear. I'm going to put these in the chat. You need to wear a mask into the classroom. If you're not wearing a mask, I will have to ask you to leave. No, it's not optional at all. It is completely how we are meeting from here on out. This was an in-person class. So we are meeting in person. It's not optional. We're not doing online anymore starting on Monday. So yes, we have to get up and shower and do all those things, right? It is the new way that we will be teaching this class. It's the format that you signed up for, Monday, Wednesday, in-person course. So you need to wear a mask. That is required. I know that the mask mandate is being lifted in California next week for indoor spaces. That does not apply to education. So plan on wearing a mask. There are sometimes extra in the classroom, and I might have a few extra, but please make sure you bring one with you and wear it properly. You will also need to do the screening on the My VCCCD app. So there's that short little screening that you need to take when you come to campus, and then you need to check in at the table when you get to campus and get your wristband. Okay, so if you come into the classroom without a mask or without a wristband, I will have to send you out, and that'll be sad to do. So just make sure that you're doing all those things as you're supposed to, right? Wear your mask, do the screening on the MyVCCCD app, check in when you get on campus and get your wristband. And again, Monday morning, if this is your first time doing any of that, make sure you leave yourself some extra time to make sure that you can get all of that completed. Our plan on Monday is I'm going to keep it short, right? And again, if you are feeling anxious, and I know some of you are because some of you have reached out to me about this, what we will do is we'll keep it kind of short. I'm going to go over some thoughts related to the syllabus and some of the changes since we will no longer be online. We're no longer doing discussions and Twitch sessions. Things are going to be a little different. So I want to go over all of that with all of you. We'll just meet each other, get to know each other just a little bit. We can talk a little bit about any thoughts or concerns and things that you might have. I want to talk about how I want to handle exams and some of the days that we have throughout the semester. So I'm planning on it not being the full amount of time. We obviously will meet for a good chunk of that, but we will kind of ease into it on Monday, and then on Wednesday, kind of get going on the next topics and do some lecture and all that kind of stuff. So make sure that you are there Monday. Are there any questions at all about that, about Monday morning, about what you need to do, any of that kind of stuff? Again, there'll be hand sanitizer and masks in most rooms, but plan for it to not be there and just make sure that you bring a mask with you. Do the screening and get your wristband and all that kind of stuff. There's only about 22 of you in this class. So what that will mean is we're able to kind of spread out through the classroom a little bit, which is nice. The classrooms hold about 40, so we won't have to sit kind of on top of each other. And we will go from there. Again, we'll kind of ease into it on Monday. I'll go over all that stuff. You can ask me questions about whatever, and we'll just go over a game plan. And then on Wednesday, when we meet again, we will start lecturing and get into our topics like we would if this had been in person all along. So that's the plan. Again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me or you can put them in the chat. But yeah, no longer online. Everything will be in person as of Monday morning. Okay. Oh, cool. Thank you. That's great. I'll look forward to looking that up. I love reading books about anything related to psychology. Kind of been obsessed with like EMDR and like developmental like stuff and like brain, how stress affects the brain and those things. But that's great. I love dreams are super interesting. So thank you, Tropical Geek, for the suggestion. So those are most of the reminders. Let me give you the Twitch extra credit question for this week. And this is, again, if this is our last Twitch live stream, this might be the last Twitch extra credit question. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Right, I love books too, right? I love to read books. I've got a million books behind me. My partner teaches English. We have no shortage of books in our house. But here's the extra credit question. Dreams occur almost exclusively during which stage of sleep? Dreams occur almost exclusively during which stage of sleep? And when you're ready to answer that, you'll head back to Canvas. And since we're in week number 5, you'll click on optional Twitch extra credit number 5. And that will bring up the page where you could submit this. You click on Start Assignment up at the top, like always. And then you can type your response in the text box down here and hit Submit. You get your little confetti burst. Anything else in the confetti today? No, just confetti. Sometimes I put random things in there. I'm always waiting for it. So that's worth 2 points. It's due by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Again, this might be the last Twitch extra credit question, so make sure you're taking advantage of that while you can. Otherwise, those are the big things to focus on for this week. Read chapter 5 in the ebook. Read through the lecture on chapter 5. Watch the lecture video. Complete discussion number 5 on dreams. So start paying attention to your dreams. Watch that little video about how to remember them if that's something you struggle with. Complete the 5-point self-assessment to kind of check in on how you're doing and your progress in the class. and then the Twitch extra credit if you want to earn those 2 points. Also, make sure that you take a few minutes, as I said, to double check your status. A lot of you did fall off, and I noticed it, so please take a moment to double check that or go through and take care of that if you can later today. I think that is everything I wanted to share with you. I do have a little bit of time that I will hang out if any of you have any questions. I know, again, I can't see you. I will see you soon, though. I will actually see you on Monday. That's wild to think. I keep expecting it to get canceled, but at this point, it's only 5 days away, and it sounds like it's happening. So we can all sit there together and just be in the classroom. That's crazy. I'm looking forward to it, even though I'm nervous. So I hope you feel the same way, and I hope you're excited about it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. As I said, I'll hang out for a little bit. Otherwise, have a wonderful week. Enjoy the Super Bowl on Sunday. No stress Super Bowl, right? I don't care who wins. Like I'm excited for either team. I hope it's a good game. I plan to do lots of eating, right? I think we're gonna do like fajitas and drinks. I mean, soda, of course, but drinks and fajitas and chips and salsa. I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm going to minimize my video, but as I said, I will hang out for a little while if you have any questions. We're done officially with our time. So take care of yourselves, get healthy. I forgot to mention as well, obviously, if you are sick on Monday or you have COVID on Monday or suspect you have COVID, please do not come, right? Hopefully at this point you know that to be the case. But if at any point moving forward you are sick or you're not feeling well or you suspect you have COVID or you have to quarantine or whatever it is, make sure that you always email me on that day. Don't just not reach out to me. If you don't reach out to me, you'll lose points. If you email me and say like, hey, I have COVID, I can't be here, we'll obviously work together on an alternate assignment. So just make sure that you're communicating with me as we move forward. And if you're not able to make it because you're sick, that you let me know that so you don't end up losing points. Okay. That's it. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to minimize this, but if you have any questions, I am still here. Otherwise, as I said, have a wonderful week. I'm going to type that in the chat. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you all on Monday morning. Goodbye. Have a wonderful day. See you Monday. Thank you. Thank you as well. Bye. I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I am still here. If any of you have any questions, I'm here and happy to answer them. All right, it looks like I am the only one in here. There might be one or two of you, but it looks like everyone is logging out. If you think of any other questions throughout the week, of course, feel free to email me. And I'm going to close this up and start the download and upload so that you can watch it later. I will see you all bright and early on Monday morning.